Okay, next, David Miller, representing Banks Peninsula Pest Free. David, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you too. And kia ora, greetings everybody. It's a pleasure to be back with you all, and I sincerely hope none of you have been directly affected by COVID-19 in a health sense. Of course, we're all affected by it in an economic sense, and that's where the challenge comes, especially with a project like ours and our request for more funding. So I'm here as the program management chair for Pest Free Banks Peninsula, a consortium, as most of you I think know, of 14 plus community organisations and statutory and local government agencies. And our submission has detailed many of the benefits for the community that are coming from already, and we're planning to have come from our Pest Free Banks Peninsula project. Just want to talk about employment, because since I made the original submission, a few things have changed. So our current on-ground activities have been paused, of course, with the nationwide lockdown, and our program, however, is now designed to directly assist recovery through direct and indirect employment opportunities. Prior to the lockdown, recruitment and training had already been raised by Runanga representatives to increase and build employment opportunities and the connections between young Māori and the whenua. Those opportunities, of course, are more and more important now in our straitened times. In our current plan, we're expecting to have up to 14 full-time equivalents newly employed as we roll out the first phases of Pest Free Banks Peninsula. As I heard on the radio coming in this morning, somebody was saying people only come to see you when they want money, and surprise, surprise, that's why I'm here. We want the council, or we're asking the council for help in various ways. First, we want to ensure that the Pest Free vision continues to be community-led, with the existing budget provision of $60,000 from the council, which we are deeply grateful for, plus the support of council rangers, and a big shout out to the head ranger Paul Devlin. Local groups are being established and supported, but although they have lots of willing volunteers, they need expertise, training, and organisation to make an impact at local level. So this $60,000 helps to make that happen. Secondly, we're seeking $40,000 for the goal of eradicating feral goats from the peninsula within 5 years. Past efforts have shown that this is a very achievable goal with a dramatic impact on biodiversity, the economy, and on carbon sequestration. The program is a genuinely collaborative effort, widespread community input and support from across the peninsula, and supported by agency staff. Last year's program removed over 300 goats from feral goats from Little Akaloa. This year we're on track to more than double that, targeting areas around Mount Evans and south of Little River prior to the pause because of lockdown. Excluding staff time, the cost of this year's goat program is $135,000 across all the partners. A substantial component of this funding has come from reserves built up for this purpose by Banks Peninsula Conservation Trust. Those funds are now exhausted, alas, so the $40,000 we seek from you will help the program continue and sits alongside similar contributions from DOC and ECAN. Our flagship project in Pest Free Banks Peninsula is the eradication of possums and mustelids from the peninsula. This is the third area we're looking for financial support with. We'd intended to discuss with the council next year for funding through the long-term plan. Given the current crisis, we're asking that you bring this forward and make it part of the council's COVID-19 response. So we've already secured over $600,000 from ECAN with additional funding over 3 years from the Department of Conservation's Community Fund. We're requesting $200,000 from Christchurch City Council specifically for this project. We're actively engaged with Predator Free 2050 as they discuss their COVID-19 response with the government. Their funding has typically been on a 2-for-1 basis, so for every $100,000 they provide $50,000. But more recently they've changed that to a 1-to-1 basis, which means that if we had council funding of $200,000, that would leverage another $200,000. So you have a really effective multiplier effect. So I've exceeded my time, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, but I just wanted to give you a background on why we're seeking the money. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, David, for the submission. Thank you.
Thank you.